Have you ever felt different but couldn't explain why? Have you experienced moments that others couldn't understand, situations that made you question whether you were meant for something greater? Do you feel as though you were born with a mission, yet the world around you has tried to convince you otherwise? If these questions resonate with you, pause for a moment and let that feeling sink in. What if this very moment, right now, is not a coincidence? What if the reason you are here, listening to this, is because something greater is calling you? Let me tell you a story about someone who once felt the same way. There was a young man who never truly fit in. From an early age, he had strange dreams, visions of events that would later come true. He could sense the emotions of those around him, sometimes even predicting when something bad was about to happen. But when he shared these experiences, people dismissed him, laughed at him, and told him he was imagining things. Over time, he learned to keep quiet, to suppress the part of himself that felt different. He tried to blend in, to live like everyone else. Yet deep inside, he knew he was not meant for a normal life. His journey was filled with hardships, betrayal, loss, and struggles, as if some invisible force was testing him. Then, one day, he met a stranger who looked at him with an intensity that sent chills down his spine and said, "You know, don't you? You are not ordinary. You were chosen for something greater." That moment changed everything. He began to reflect on his past, on all the signs he had ignored, and realized they were not random. They were clues, messages leading him toward his true purpose. And now, I ask you, have you ever noticed signs like these in your own life? Today, we are going to explore 7 powerful signs that you may be one of the chosen ones. And make sure to stay until the very end, because the final sign could completely transform the way you see yourself and your journey. If this message speaks to you, take a moment to acknowledge it. Like this video so that more people can receive this message. Comment below, "I am ready to step into my calling." And most importantly, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because what you are about to discover goes beyond this moment. There are no coincidences in life, only patterns waiting to be understood. The very fact that you are here, listening to this, is a sign in itself. What if everything you've experienced so far has been preparing you for something extraordinary? What if this is the moment where it all begins to make sense? Take a deep breath. The journey begins now. Have you ever wondered why your life seems to be filled with challenges that never seem to end? Why, despite your best efforts, you always find yourself in situations that test your strength, your faith, and your resilience? Why, no matter how much good you do, life keeps throwing obstacles in your path? Do you ever stop and ask yourself, why me? If you have, let me tell you something, this is not a coincidence. Life is not punishing you. The struggles you face are not meaningless. They are preparing you. Because those who are meant for something greater are not given an easy road. They are tested, refined, and strengthened through fire. The strongest souls, the ones with the greatest purpose, are the ones who endure the most. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone achieve something truly meaningful without first walking through pain? Every great leader, every person who has ever changed the world, has first faced trials that seemed impossible to overcome. Why? Because strength is not given, it is built. Wisdom is not learned in comfort, it is forged in adversity. Let me ask you this, have you ever had a moment in your life when you thought you wouldn't make it? A time when the pain was too great, the betrayal too deep, the weight of the world too heavy? A moment when you wanted to give up, when you questioned if you had the strength to keep going? But you did. Somehow, you rose. Somehow, you found a way forward. And here you are, still standing. That is no accident. That is proof of who you are. Let me share with you a story that has been told for thousands of years, a story of struggle, of hardship, and ultimately, of destiny. In the Bible, Joseph was a man with a great calling on his life. But before he could step into that purpose, he was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and wrongfully imprisoned for years. Imagine how he must have felt, alone, abandoned, wondering why everything in his life was falling apart. But what looked like his downfall was actually his preparation. Every trial, every moment of suffering was shaping him into the leader he was meant to be. And when the time came, he didn't just rise, he ruled. He became a great leader who saved an entire nation from famine. Had he never faced those hardships, he would have never developed the wisdom, the strength, or the resilience required to fulfill his true purpose. Now, let's talk about you. Think about the struggles you have faced in your own life. The losses, the heartbreaks, the moments of betrayal, the nights you cried in silence because no one truly understood the weight you were carrying. How many times have you felt like life was too much? How many times have you wondered why you were being tested so relentlessly? But let me ask you this, did you survive? You did. And not only did you survive, but you grew. You learned. You became stronger. And even though you may not see it yet, everything you have endured has been preparing you for what is to come. Because here's the truth, your pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to shape you. Every time you thought you couldn't take another step, but you did, that was proof of your strength. Every time life knocked you down, but you stood back up, that was proof of your resilience. And now, you have a choice. You can look at your past and see only pain, or you can recognize it as preparation. You can choose to believe that every hardship you have faced is leading you towards something greater. Because it is. If this message resonates with you, if you feel deep inside that your struggles were not meaningless, I want you to affirm it right now. Comment below, I am stronger than my challenges. Let this be your declaration. Let this be the moment you decide that your past will not define you, it will empower you. You are not being tested because you are weak. You are being tested because you are chosen. And this is only the beginning. Stay with me, because the next sign will reveal even more about who you are and the path that awaits you. Take a deep breath. You are not alone. You are being guided. You are being prepared. Let's move forward. In the journey of those who are chosen, struggle is never just suffering, it is preparation. Every challenge, every hardship, has shaped you into the person you are today. But how do you navigate this path? How do you know which direction to take, which people to trust, and which opportunities are meant for you? The answer lies within something you have always had but may not have fully understood, your intuition. Have you ever had a strong feeling about something, only for it to unfold exactly as you sensed it would? Have you ever met someone and instantly felt they were not trustworthy, and later, you discovered your instinct was right? Or maybe you've experienced an unexplainable pull toward a decision, as if a silent voice inside you was guiding you toward the right path. If so, understand this, your intuition is not random. It is not a coincidence. It is a gift, one of the greatest tools given to those who are chosen. Most people ignore these feelings. They dismiss them as imagination, as paranoia, as mere gut feelings. But those who are meant for a higher purpose are different. They don't just experience intuition, they are deeply connected to it. Because intuition is not just a hunch, it is the bridge between your consciousness and the unseen forces of the universe. Science has shown that the human brain processes information at levels beyond our conscious awareness. Studies have proven that before we even recognize danger, before our rational mind has time to react, our subconscious already knows. This is why some people feel a sense of unease before something bad happens. Why others instinctively know which path to take, even without a logical explanation. But intuition is not just a product of the brain, it is also a spiritual connection. In the Bible, Samuel heard his name being called 3 times before realizing it was the voice of God guiding him, 1 Samuel 3 verses 1 to 10. He was chosen, but before he could fulfill his purpose, he had to learn to listen. The same is true for you. Now, let me share a story, one that proves just how powerful intuition can be. There have been countless cases of people who survived disasters because they listened to that inner voice. On September 11, 2001, several individuals woke up with an unexplained feeling that something was wrong. Without knowing why, they canceled meetings, rescheduled flights, or decided to take a different route to work. Later that day, they realized their intuition had saved their lives. The question is, how many times have you felt something similar? Have there been moments in your life when something told you to take a different path, avoid a situation, or trust an inner knowing? More importantly, did you listen? If you are one of the chosen, your intuition is stronger than most. But having this gift is not enough, you must learn to use it. So how do you develop your intuition and sharpen this tool that has been given to you? First, create moments of stillness. The noise of the world can drown out your inner voice, so take time to reflect, to pray, to meditate. Second, start writing down the moments when your intuition speaks to you. Patterns will emerge, and you will see how often your instincts were right. Third, act on your intuition instead of dismissing it. The more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. Your intuition is not something to ignore. It is not a coincidence. It is a divine compass, pointing you toward your destiny. The only question is, will you trust it? If you believe that intuition is a gift and that it has been guiding you, affirm it now. Comment below, I trust the intuition God has given me. Because the moment you begin to listen to it, your path will become clearer than ever before. As you start recognizing the signs guiding you, there is another truth that may have been following you throughout your life, one that explains why you often feel out of place in this world. You may have noticed it since childhood. It is the feeling that no matter where you go, no matter who you are with, you don't quite belong. And that, too, is not a coincidence. Let's explore why. There is something powerful about intuition. It acts as an inner guide, a silent voice leading you toward the path you were meant to walk. But what happens when that path feels different from everyone else's? What if no matter where you go, no matter how hard you try to fit in, there is always this lingering feeling that you don't quite belong? Have you ever looked around and wondered why you think so differently from others? Why the things that excite most people don't seem to interest you? Have you ever felt as though you were placed here, in this world, but somehow, you are not truly of it? If these thoughts resonate with you, let me tell you something important. You are not imagining things. This feeling of being different, of being disconnected from the world around you, is not an accident. It is a sign. A sign that you are meant for something more. People who are chosen often experience this sense of disconnection, not because they are lost, but because they are awakening. They operate on a different frequency, one that does not align with the superficial desires of the world. While others chase temporary pleasures, those who are chosen seek truth, wisdom, and purpose. This can make them feel isolated, misunderstood, even alienated from society. But what if this feeling of being different was never meant to be a burden? What if it was meant to be a sign that you belong to something far greater? Even Jesus himself spoke about this. He said, "They are not of the world, just as I am not of the world." John 17 verse 16. Those who are chosen do not follow the ways of this world because they are not truly of it. They are meant to walk a different path, a path that leads beyond material success, beyond the illusions of society, towards something much greater. Think about your life for a moment. Have you ever felt like an outsider, even among your own family and friends? Have you ever struggled to relate to conversations that feel meaningless, as if there is something deeper your soul is yearning for? Have you ever questioned why others seem content with a life that, to you, feels so empty? If so, this is not a flaw. It is proof that you were created for something beyond the ordinary. Let me give you an example. Think about Moses. He was raised in the royal palace of Egypt, surrounded by luxury, power, and wealth. From the outside, he had everything one could want. But deep down, he knew he didn't belong. He felt the pull towards something greater, even when he didn't fully understand it yet. And when the time came, he left behind the life he once knew to embrace his true purpose, to lead his people to freedom. He could have chosen to ignore that feeling of not belonging, to force himself to conform to the world he was raised in. But he didn't. He listened to that calling, and because of that, his destiny unfolded before him. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own life. Have you ever felt that no matter how much you try to settle into a normal life, something within you resists? That deep down, you crave something more, something meaningful, something with purpose? People who are chosen share certain traits. They do not engage in shallow conversations for long, they crave depth, meaning, and truth. They often feel different from childhood, sensing that they see the world in a way others do not. They absorb energy deeply, sometimes feeling drained by negative environments because they are highly attuned to what others cannot see. They find peace not in chaos and noise, but in moments of stillness, where they can reflect, connect, and seek wisdom. If you recognize yourself in these words, then know this: you are not alone. There are others like you, others who feel the same pull towards something greater. The world may not understand you, but that is because you were never meant to be shaped by it. You were meant to rise above it. If you have ever felt like you don't belong, it is because you belong somewhere else, a place of higher calling, of divine purpose. Affirm this truth right now. Comment below, "I am different because I have a higher purpose." Let this be the moment you embrace the truth of who you are. And once you begin to recognize this, something else starts to happen. You begin to see signs, patterns, messages, and synchronicities that seem to appear just when you need them most. Are these mere coincidences, or are they something more? Let's find out. Feeling like you don't belong in this world is one thing, but feeling like something is trying to reach out to you is another. You felt it, haven't you? Moments that make you stop, make you wonder, make you feel as if the universe itself is speaking directly to you. Have you ever looked at the clock and seen 11:11, 22:22, or 3:33 more times than you can count? Have you ever had a vivid dream that later unfolded in real life, almost as if you had caught a glimpse of the future? Have you ever thought about someone, only for them to call or appear unexpectedly? Have you ever had a random encounter that changed the entire direction of your life? If you have experienced any of these, you must understand something important: these are not coincidences. They are messages. They are signs. And they are meant for you. The question is, are you paying attention? Throughout history, signs have been used to guide those who are chosen. In the Bible, divine messages were given through dreams, visions, and celestial events. The three wise men followed a mysterious star that led them to Jesus, Matthew 2 verses 1 to 12. Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus, was warned in a dream to flee to Egypt to protect his family, Matthew 2 verse 13. Gideon, uncertain about his calling, asked God for a physical sign, and it was granted to him, Judges 6 verses 36 to 40. These were not coincidences. They were guidance. And just as these signs were given in ancient times, they are being given now, to those who are ready to see them. Those who are chosen often experience signs in profound ways. The most common are repeating numbers, 11:11, 22:22, 3:33. These numbers carry deep spiritual significance. In ancient numerology, 11:11 represents awakening, alignment, and divine guidance. When you see it, ask yourself, what was I thinking about in this moment? Because it may be confirmation that you are on the right path. Then, there are prophetic dreams. Have you ever had a dream so vivid that it stayed with you for days? Have you ever seen something in a dream, only for it to happen later? Many people dismiss these as just dreams, but the chosen ones know better. The spiritual world often communicates through dreams because, in sleep, the mind is quiet enough to receive the message. Another way the universe speaks is through the inner voice, that strong gut feeling that tells you what to do, even when logic says otherwise. Have you ever felt an overwhelming pull toward a decision without any logical explanation? Have you ever sensed danger before it happened, or felt a deep knowing that you should walk away from a situation? That is not just instinct. That is guidance. Then, there are synchronicities, events that seem too perfectly timed to be random. Have you ever met the right person at exactly the right moment, as if they were placed in your life for a reason? Have you ever stumbled upon a book, a video, or a message at the precise time you needed to hear it? Have you ever asked the universe for a sign, only to have something unexpected happen moments later? These things do not happen by chance. They happen because you are being guided. Many people live their lives without ever noticing these signs. They are too distracted, too disconnected, too focused on the material world to see the messages unfolding around them. But you are different. You are receiving signs because you are awakening. You are being called to something greater, and the universe is making sure you do not miss it. But here is the problem: most people ignore the signs. They brush them off as coincidences. They silence their intuition. They talk themselves out of believing in the things they know deep inside to be true. And when they ignore the signs for too long, the guidance becomes harder to hear. So let me ask you this: are you listening? Or have you been dismissing the signs that were meant to lead you? Recognizing the signs is one thing, but understanding them is another. So how can you start truly connecting with the messages being sent to you? First, pay attention. The next time you see repeating numbers, experience a strange coincidence, or feel a deep inner knowing, do not ignore it. Pause. Reflect. Ask yourself, what is this moment trying to tell me? Second, write it down. Keep a journal of the signs you receive. Over time, patterns will emerge, and you will begin to see how the messages are connected. Third, trust your inner knowing. The more you trust the guidance you receive, the stronger the connection becomes. If you feel a sudden urge to take a different path, to reach out to someone, or to change direction in life, listen. You are being led. Fourth, ask for clarity. If you feel lost or unsure, ask for a sign. Speak it out loud or in your heart: if I am on the right path, show me a sign that I cannot ignore. And then be open to how the answer comes. This is not just imagination. This is real. And the moment you open your heart to receive, the messages will become clearer than ever before. The universe is always speaking. The signs are always there. The only question is, will you start paying attention? If you have ever experienced repeating numbers, prophetic dreams, synchronicities, or an inner voice guiding you, affirm it now. Comment below: I am receiving signs, and I am ready to listen. Let this be the moment you stop doubting and start trusting. And as you begin to recognize the signs, something else becomes clear: you are not just being guided. You are drawing people in. You may have noticed it before. Strangers open up to you. People are drawn to your energy, even when you are silent. There is something about you that makes you different. And that, too, is a sign. Let's explore why. When you begin to recognize the signs that the universe is guiding you, you start to realize something even more profound: you are not just receiving signs, you are a sign. You carry an energy that affects people in ways you don't always understand. Have you ever walked into a room and felt eyes turning toward you, even though you weren't trying to attract attention? Have strangers ever opened up to you, sharing their deepest thoughts as if they had known you for years? Have you noticed that people seem to be drawn to your presence, your words, or simply the way you carry yourself? If you have, then you need to understand something: this is not a coincidence. It is part of your calling. Many people go through life unnoticed, blending into the crowd. But those who are chosen, those with a greater purpose, radiate something different. It's not just about physical appearance or charm. This magnetism comes from within. It's an energy, a frequency, a light that shines whether you try to control it or not. And because of this, people are naturally pulled toward you. But why? What is this force that draws others in, and what does it mean? The answer lies in something deeper than human attraction. Those who are chosen vibrate at a higher frequency. They carry wisdom, presence, and depth that most people can sense even before a word is spoken. In the Bible, Jesus said, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Matthew 5 verse 14. This is exactly what happens when you walk through life with a divine calling. You cannot hide, even if you try. Your presence carries weight. Your words carry power. Your energy influences the people around you, whether you intend to or not. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how people naturally listen when you speak? How your emotions seem to shift the energy of an entire room? Have you ever been told, "There's just something about you," even by people who barely know you? If so, you are experiencing the effect of your divine energy. It is not just luck. It is not just personality. It is purpose manifesting itself. Throughout history, the most influential leaders were not those who sought attention, it was those who carried presence. Moses, when first called by God, doubted himself. He did not see himself as a leader. And yet, when he spoke, millions followed. He was chosen not because he wanted to be in the spotlight, but because his spirit carried the weight of divine purpose. Similarly, figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Mother Teresa did not seek fame. But people were drawn to them, moved by their words and actions, because they radiated something beyond themselves. And now, I want you to reflect on your own life. Have you noticed how people confide in you, even when you don't ask? Have you seen how your presence alone can shift the mood of those around you? Have you ever wondered why people seem to be drawn to you, even if you don't seek attention? This is a gift, but like all gifts, it comes with responsibility. When you carry an energy this strong, you must learn how to protect it. Because while many will be drawn to your light, not all will have good intentions. Some will try to take from you without giving anything back. Some will seek to drain your energy, to manipulate your kindness, or to use your influence for their own gain. So how do you harness this power without being consumed by it? First, recognize that your presence is a gift, but not everyone deserves access to it. You do not have to give your energy away to everyone who demands it. Second, learn to set boundaries. Not everyone who is drawn to you is meant to stay in your life. Pay attention to how people make you feel. Do they uplift you, or do they leave you drained? Third, protect your energy. Just as you guard your physical well-being, you must guard your spiritual and emotional space. Choose where you invest your energy, because your presence is powerful, and power must be handled with wisdom. This magnetism you carry is not something you can turn off. It is part of who you are. But the question is, are you using it in the right way? Are you allowing your presence to elevate others, or are you letting it be misused by those who do not value it? Are you embracing your calling, or are you shrinking away from it? If you have ever felt this energy within you, if you have ever experienced how others are drawn to you without explanation, affirm it now. Comment below, "My presence carries purpose." Let this be your declaration, your confirmation that you recognize this gift and will use it wisely. And as you begin to understand the power of your presence, something else starts to happen. You start feeling a deep pull toward a purpose greater than yourself. It's a feeling that no amount of success or material gain can satisfy, the feeling that you were born for something more, even if you don't yet know what it is. And that, my friend, is the next sign. Let's uncover it together. You've begun to recognize the signs, the way people are drawn to you, the way your presence carries weight, the way the universe seems to be guiding you. But deep inside, there is something else, something you can't quite explain. It's a feeling, a knowing, a quiet but persistent pull towards something more. Have you ever felt like you were meant to do something significant but had no idea what it was? Have you ever achieved things in life, success, relationships, financial stability, only to feel strangely empty, as if something is still missing? Have you ever found yourself asking, "Why am I here? What is my true purpose?" If you have ever felt this way, you are not alone. This is not an ordinary kind of restlessness. It is not a lack of gratitude. It is not something you should ignore. This feeling exists because you were created for something greater, and your soul knows it. But before you can step into that purpose, you must go through what many before you have experienced, a season of searching, of questioning, of feeling lost before you are found. Every person with a divine mission has walked through this phase. Moses spent 40 years in a palace and another 40 years in the wilderness before he understood that his purpose was to lead his people. Paul, before becoming one of the greatest messengers of faith, was first a persecutor of believers, walking in the complete opposite direction of his calling. Even Steve Jobs, a man who transformed technology, spent years dropping out of school, searching, experimenting with different ideas before he discovered what he was meant to do. No one finds their purpose immediately. The feeling of being lost is often a sign that you are actually on the verge of discovering something profound. Think about your own life. Have you ever felt frustrated with where you are, as if you should be doing something more but don't know what it is? Have you ever looked at your life and wondered why, despite having things that should make you happy, you still feel incomplete? Have you ever felt like the life you're living is not truly yours, like you are meant to be somewhere else, doing something else, but you can't quite see what that is? If you have, then consider this. What if you are in the waiting season before your breakthrough? What if the dissatisfaction you feel is not a problem, but a message, a sign that you are being prepared for something beyond what you can currently see? Many people mistake this feeling for failure. They assume that because they haven't figured everything out yet, they must be doing something wrong. But that is not true. The discomfort you feel is not a punishment. It is a calling. So how do you begin to uncover your true purpose? The first step is to pay attention to what ignites your soul. Ask yourself, what am I naturally drawn to? What is something that makes me feel energized when I do it? Often, your purpose is hidden within the things you love but have been told are not practical or not important. The second step is to look at the signs in your life. Has the universe been nudging you in a certain direction? Have people repeatedly told you that you are good at something? Have doors been opening or closing in ways that don't seem like coincidences? These are clues. The third step is to listen to the voice inside you. That small whisper, that gut feeling, it is trying to tell you something. The fourth step is to take action, even if you don't have all the answers. Too many people wait for perfect clarity before they begin, but the truth is, clarity comes from movement. You don't need to see the entire path. You just need to take the next step. And now, I want to ask you, do you feel it? That pull towards something bigger than yourself? That quiet but persistent feeling that you were made for more? If you do, then affirm it now. Comment below, I am ready to step into my purpose. Let this be the moment you acknowledge that what you feel is real. Let this be the moment you stop doubting and start seeking. Because once you begin to recognize your calling, something incredible happens. You start to notice a force guiding you, not just in moments of reflection, not just in signs from the universe, but in something much greater than yourself. You begin to feel that you are not walking this path alone. And that, my friend, is the most powerful sign of all. Let's uncover it next. As you begin to search for your true purpose, you may start to notice something extraordinary. Life itself seems to be guiding you. Have you ever felt as if there was an invisible hand shaping the course of your life? Have you ever changed your mind at the last minute, only to realize later that it saved you from making a terrible mistake? Have you ever met someone, found a book, or heard a message at exactly the right time, when you needed it most? If you have experienced this, understand one thing: this is not a coincidence. This is divine guidance. There are no accidents in life. Everything is part of a greater design, and if you have felt an unseen force guiding you, protecting you, redirecting you, it is because you are being led. The events that unfold around you are not random, they are messages, carefully placed in your path to lead you where you are meant to go. The universe, or rather, the creator of the universe, has been watching over you since the day you were born. In the Bible, God speaks these words: I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go, I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Psalm 32 verse 8. This means that no matter what you have gone through, no matter how lost you may have felt, your path has always been known. Even when you doubted yourself. Even when you questioned your purpose. Even when you thought you were alone. Think about the moments in your life that didn't make sense at the time, but later, you saw how they fit perfectly into your story. Have you ever looked back and realized that a rejection, a setback, or a difficult season actually led you to something better? Have you ever wondered if all the trials you faced were not meant to break you, but to prepare you? Look at the story of Joseph. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, wrongfully imprisoned. For years, his life seemed to be one hardship after another. But in the end, every single event led him to exactly where he needed to be, to save an entire nation from famine. What looked like suffering was actually divine preparation. The same is true for Moses. He was raised in Pharaoh's palace, learning the ways of leadership. Then, he spent years in the wilderness, feeling lost and alone. But all of it was leading him to one purpose, to become the leader who would free his people. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own life. Have there been moments when life forced you in a direction you didn't expect? Have you ever felt an unshakable urge to take a certain path, even when it didn't make sense at the time? Have you ever felt a strange sense of peace after making a difficult decision, as if something beyond you was confirming it was the right choice? These are signs that you are being guided. And once you start recognizing them, you will realize they have always been there. There are many ways this guidance appears. Sometimes, it comes in the form of synchronistic events, when the right person, the right opportunity, or the right message appears exactly when you need it. Other times, it comes as a deep internal knowing, a feeling that you are supposed to go in a certain direction, even when you don't understand why. Some people receive guidance through dreams or visions, messages that reveal truth and direction in ways that words cannot. And perhaps the most powerful sign of all is peace. When you are walking the right path, there is a deep sense of calm that settles in your spirit, a knowing that no matter what happens, you are exactly where you need to be. So now, I ask you, have you been paying attention? Have you been ignoring the signs, dismissing them as random events? Or have you been listening, following where they lead? Because the truth is, you have never been alone. You have always been guided, even in the moments when you felt lost. Even in the seasons of uncertainty. Even in the trials you thought would destroy you. If you feel this truth deep inside you, affirm it now. Comment below, I trust that I am being guided. Let this be your confirmation that you recognize the presence of something greater at work in your life. Let this be the moment you stop doubting and start trusting. And now, as we bring all of these signs together, one question remains: what will you do with this knowledge? If you have felt these signs, if you have seen them unfold in your life, then it means you are being called towards something greater. The real question is, are you ready to step into your destiny? Let's move forward together. You have just uncovered 7 undeniable signs that you are not like everyone else. These signs are not random. They are not mere coincidences. They are proof that you are here for a reason, that your life has meaning beyond what the world may have led you to believe. Take a moment to let this sink in. Everything you have felt, everything you have experienced, it all has a purpose. The struggles you have endured, the deep inner knowing that has always whispered to you, the unshakable feeling that you were born for something more, all of it was pointing you toward this moment. You did not find this message by accident. You were meant to hear this. Now, I want you to reflect. Look back at your life. Think about the challenges, the heartbreaks, the moments when you felt lost, when nothing seemed to make sense. How many times have you questioned why things happened the way they did? How many times have you felt disconnected from the world around you, as if you were living in a reality that didn't quite align with who you are? How many times have you felt an invisible hand guiding you, protecting you, pushing you toward a path you didn't even realize you were meant to walk? The truth is, there was never a moment when you were truly alone. Even in the silence, even in the darkness, you were being prepared. And now, here you are, on the edge of something greater. You are beginning to see the signs for what they truly are. They were never random. They were never meaningless. They were always leading you somewhere. And now, you have a choice. What will you do with this knowledge? Knowing that you are chosen is not enough. Recognizing the signs is only the first step. The real question is, are you ready to step into your calling? Because once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you awaken to your purpose, you cannot return to the life you lived before. The path ahead is waiting. But only you can choose to walk it. Among the 7 signs we have explored, which one resonated with you the most? Which one felt like it was speaking directly to your soul? Leave a comment below and share your experience. Let this be your declaration that you see the signs and that you are ready to embrace them. And remember, your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Someone out there is still searching for confirmation that they are not alone. Your words could be the sign that changes someone's life. But before we conclude, there is still one question left unanswered, one that many have asked, but few truly understand. You now recognize the signs, but how do you discover your specific mission? What were you created to do? How do you move from simply knowing you are chosen to understanding exactly what you were chosen for? The truth is, the universe does not just place signs around you, it also leaves signs on you. This may surprise you, but your physical body carries markings that reveal deep truths about your destiny. The shape of your hands, the patterns in your eyes, the unique features of your body, all of these hold clues to who you are meant to become. Ancient wisdom, spiritual traditions, and even modern science have long studied these markings, and the results are astonishing. There are 5 powerful signs on your body that prove you were born with a divine mission. If you have ever felt different, if you have ever wondered why you were made this way, you cannot afford to miss what I am about to share next. So here is what you need to do. Like this video right now if these signs have resonated with you. This simple action will help this message reach others who need to hear it. And most importantly, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you do not miss tomorrow's revelation. What I am about to share could change the way you see yourself forever. This journey is just beginning. You are not alone. You are being guided. And if you are ready to unlock the next step in your destiny, then I will see you in the next video. Your mission is waiting. The question is, will you answer the call?